Hey, how you doing YouTube? I'm back in the video, and today I'm going to be talking about why the NBA should be scared of the Utah Jazz. And now what I mean by this is that I'm going to be giving some reasons why I think the NBA should kind of be looking out for the Jazz and why they could be very, very scary next year. Now, I'm not a Jazz fan, and I make this type of video for every single type, or not every single type of team. There's only one type of team. Unless you're the Brooklyn Nets and you're a different category of shit. I'm kidding. Don't get offended if you're a Brooklyn fan. Anyway, yeah, but I make this for every single team, so I don't think I'm just making this because I'm a biased Jazz fan. I personally think the Jazz are underrated and overrated at the same time. I don't know how, I just feel that way. Because sometimes people think they're like the Warriors, and other times they're just a mediocre team. But I think they're overrated and underrated, so I'm going to be giving reasons why I think the Jazz could be very, very scary next year. So without further ado, without rambling on too much, let's get right into this video. Alright, so my first reason for this video is going to be their defense, as last year they were a top 2 defensive team. They were actually locking everyone up. I mean, and it does help when you have the defensive player of the year on your team last year, and Rudy Gobert, who had a kind of off and on year, as he missed the first half of the year with a bad injury, but then he was able to still come back and win Defensive Player of the Year. He was a very good rim protector for them. I think he averaged like 2.3 blocks per game and 10 rebounds per game, which is and I think he did average a double-double. So I mean, he's a very, very good player for them, and I think he's a big reason why their defense is so good. But another big reason why their team is so good is because they have a young guy named Donovan Mitchell, who's also pretty good on defense, who averages around 1.5 steals per game. Then also, when you add in people like Ricky Rubio and other players like that, that is why their defense was so good last year. I mean, top 2, almost everyone on your team has to at least be semi-good at defense, and especially on your starting lineup at least. So, I mean, their defense was one of the best in the NBA, probably it was very close to being the best. I mean, they're number 2 ranked. I think the Warriors are ranked above them, maybe. I'm not sure. I need to check that out. I forgot. But, I mean, they just know that their defense is a huge reason for their success. I mean, a lot of people look at their offenses and Donovan Mitchell and players like that, and I mean, when people say, oh, well, Donovan Mitchell beat the Thunder, no, Donovan Mitchell and the Defensive Player of the Year and Ricky Rubio and Derek Favors, I think. And though all of them helped, it wasn't just Donovan Mitchell, it wasn't just their offense, it's because of how good their defense was. I mean, Carmelo, he's a scorer still. I mean, he had a bad year, but still, I mean, they took him out of the series. Westbrook only had a couple of good games. Paul George only had like 1 or 2 good games. They were able to completely take them out of the series because of their defense. So, I mean, that's the only time I think Donovan Mitchell is overrated, is when people say he beat the Thunder by himself. No, he didn't. But, I mean, he had Defensive Player of the Year on his side, but I'm still saying Donovan Mitchell's a very good player. And what I'm trying to say is that their defense is a huge, huge part of their success. But now my second reason is going to be their young talent. And what I mean by this, I mean, obviously they have Donovan Mitchell, who last year was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year. Probably should have been co-Rookie of the Year. I think Ben Simmons deserved it, but I think it could have been co-Rookie of the Year. But I was going for Ben Simmons. But either way, I mean, he's had an unbelievable rookie year, as he averaged 20.5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, and 3.7 assists per game. And I mean, I think he's one of the probably next shining stars. He reminds me of someone like Russell Westbrook. Very explosive, runs the entire time, has a very high motor. I want to see how he develops in the future, and I think he would be very, very good alongside Rudy Gobert. But my other young player that they also added, who I kind of like, is Grayson Allen. Now, I don't like him as a person. I mean, obviously he's a dirty player. He sticks his butt out on people, trips them. He does a lot of things that are bad, but I think he's an overall pretty good player, as he was a huge reason why Duke won their national championship a few years back. And I mean, I think he fell in the draft way too much just for being a bad person, or like, I mean, I know he might be a personality threat, but I don't think he's going to have that bad personality, or he's going to be as dirty in the NBA as he was in college. As I mean, he's still a very solid player that I think should have probably went in the first round, as he averaged 15 points per game, 1.7 steals per game on 37% shooting from the 3 and 50% shooting from the field last year for Duke. And I think he's going to be a very, very efficient player, very good on defense, hustle, pretty much do a lot of things well for him. I think he'll be very, very good for them off the bench next year. And I want to see how he also develops around them. If he can keep that personality in check, I really do think they could have had a huge steal in this draft. And then my third and final reason for this video is going to be their chemistry. Now, y'all might be like, dude, what do you mean their chemistry? They had good chemistry last year. Well, when you look at it, Donovan Mitchell, no one knew how good he was going to be, and it was their first year playing together. Now they added Grayson Allen. It was also Derek Favors, and they made a trade for get rid of Rodney Hood for Jay Crowder. Rodney Hood was a huge score for him, but now they have Jay Crowder, and that's going to be all their second years playing with each other. So, I mean, they're all going to have more and more chemistry and know how to play with each other at an even higher level and a higher pace, to the point to where they can have even more success than they had last year. Chemistry is a huge thing, as you can see it. When the Pelicans had just got Cousins and Anthony Davis, it took them pretty much half of the first season when they traded for him, and then half the next season after they got him. And right when they started to click, DeMarcus Cousins got hurt, so we never got to see their full potential. But right before he got hurt, you could really see that they were clicking and they learned how to play together. So I think it's going to kind of like be that with the Warriors this year. I mean, they're going to have to learn how to work with Cousins, but once they find out how to work with Cousins, then they're going to be able to play at the high pace and high potential like people know of them to do. So chemistry is a huge thing, and I think with Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Jay Crowder, even Derek Favors, so that he was there for the trade, I think all of them are going to be huge things to have their second year, and I think this is probably going to be the year that they make it to the second or third round, like win the second round. Obviously, they made it to the second round last year, but I think this is the season that they could make it to the third round of the playoffs. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be your first video. So if you did enjoy it, hit the like button and subscribe button, and comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Jazz could be like a team to be forced with next year? Or do you think they're going to flop? I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions below. And also, I say this every video. Thank y'all so much for showing so much support y'all been showing. I love y'all so much. Like, y'all have been amazing, and I can't thank y'all enough. And this series has kind of been on a low. I'm thinking about maybe ending it early. So I mean, if you wanted to see the series, continue to show support on it and everything, because I mean, I'm not going to continue a series that is kind of bombing lately. So I mean, I'm probably just going to end the series if it doesn't start doing well. It's going to be kind of hard to do because this is my first really successful series. But yeah, so just keep showing support if you want to do it on that. I mean, have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so I need to have a blessed day. See you tomorrow's video. Goodbye.